Okay. Hello, everyone. I am Carlos Ramirez from Pengwin, and today I will show you how to boost your productivity with Raft and Pengwin and how to work with Enterprise Linux with WSL. WSL is a great technology that can boost your productivity. Depending on your involvement with it, you may need tools to alleviate the repetitive task. Today, we will see Raft running, Pengwin, Fedora, and Pengwin Enterprise. When you develop for the Linux platform and need to test in different distros, create checkpoints and restore them without the proper tool, everything can rapidly become a mess. Raft. Raft has a grid distro view. In one view, you can see the available distros, install them, and make manipulations. You also, in the snapshot screen, allows you backup, restore, and have them organized and handy. You have distro command and expanding list of command and operation to perform on your installed distro. Now let's see Raft running. This is the main screen. You see all the distributions that are available in Microsoft Store. And let's install one of them. Let's install the default Ubuntu. We right click and click install. We install in the Microsoft Store application, you download it, and we can launch it. It will install as usual. You create a user, your password, and we have our Ubuntu running in WSL 2. You can see in the symbol that Raft shows that this is a WSL 2 installation. You can change the default version to WSL 1 to install a WSL 1 distribution. Let's try with Ubuntu 18. Let's install it in WSL 1. The same procedure, the same for WSL 1 or 2. Okay, you can see the symbol is different. It denotes WSL 1. Now let's update our Ubuntu. We can click update command and it will run the update procedure. You can use it with every distribution in Raft. Now let's imagine that we want to switch from WSL 1 to WSL 2. We can switch it, and before we can tell Raft to make a backup in case of something goes wrong. We specify the name, WSL1, and it will create the backup and then make the switch. You can see now the two distributions are in WSL 1, 2, and let's check it. Checking the kernel version. In WSL 1, the kernel is 4.4. So this is WSL 2. Now, let's see the snapshot screen. You can see the date, the name, and also where in the file system is stored your backup. So let's restore it. Remember that we have chosen WSL 1 as the default, so it will import in WSL 1. So you can see we have the WSL 1. Let's try something with Windows Terminal. You can see the icons are not looking good. Let's tell Raft to fix the things. It will synchronize the distributions with Windows Terminal, and also run it when you double click the distribution. So let's double click Ubuntu. It will open Windows Terminal. You see the icon changes, and also we are in the Linux home instead of the Windows one. And if you see in the menu, we have the icons and the names properly set up. One thing that is critical when you integrate with other tools is which distribution will be called when you issue the WSL command. For example, this command will run in the default distribution. You can see that this cat will show Ubuntu 20. Okay? Now, let's tell Raft to change it. You can see that this is automatically applied. So you can do it how many times that you need. And that's it for Raft. The roadmap. Custom distributions. Create custom distribution from snapshots, duplicate distributions, import any tar file as a distribution, create launchers in a start menu, move distros to another place, for example, another drive, specify where to install the distros when you double click in launch. Improvements. Create incremental backups or checkpoints for each distribution, a revamped snapshot screen with more options. You can open the file system of the distribution in Windows Explorer, add custom commands to the distro right-click menu, and launch the distros directly from the taskbar. UI applications. Show UI applications icons in Raft for all the distribution installed. Create launcher for apps in start menu. Auto-configure X server. Auto-configure high DPI. And lastly, Pengwin setup. Bring the best of Pengwin setup to your distro. We will bring systemd, services, UI configuration, home backup, and terminal. Nowadays, to work with WSL, a lot of configuration needs to be done to entirely take advantage of it. Also, good interop between Windows and Linux needs to be configured. Pengwin, the distro for WSL. Pengwin is our handcrafted Debian-based distribution made to squeeze the potential of WSL. We have out-of-the-box automatic GUI app support, auto-configuration for GUI libraries, X server, high DPI, and start menu shortcuts. It configures and integrates with Windows the most used development tools, and our support channel gives those top priority to WSL issues. Let's see Pengwin in action. In this demo, we will try to install a Linux terminal that comes with KDE called console and see if we can integrate with our workflow in Linux, in Windows. Okay, it's installed. The first thing is that we run Pengwin setup, and it will check for a newer version of it, as you can see. And the first thing is that we will install the UI integration with UI-based libraries, and also install the X410 X server. It will launch the Microsoft Store. We can install it in the same way. Meanwhile, we can continue installing the packages for Pengwin. And let's wait a bit it downloads. Okay, that's it. Let's close it. And let's configure with Penguin setup one more time. This time, we will tell to install the terminal and also to start X410 at Penguin Startup. The idea is that you don't need to have the X server if you don't need it running. Okay, and also it will launch with WSL2 parameters. Okay, it will install all the needed packages. Then the last thing is to generate the start menu shortcuts. Okay, it creates them. So let's close everything and see if it works. We open the start menu and look for the Penguin applications folder. We open console WSL in parentheses to distinguish the Linux applications. And it will open X410, will open the firewall port that is necessary for WSL2. And well, we're running it right, except that the is teeny, right? Let's fix this. Run Penguin setup again, and this time we will tell it to install the high DPI support. We use high DPI value from WSL sys, courtesy of WSL utilities, and it says that the value is 175%. Each time that you change the DPI, you need to run this command again to write the environment variables. Okay, let's run it again. And that's it, your terminal. Now, we can do the things in other way. Let's define a script to run Penguin setup commands automatically. You can call Penguin setup to update, to auto install the things, also to generate the start menu shortcuts. The idea is that we can put this script in our home, we can back up our home, and then we can install Penguin from scratch. We restore the backup and run the script. We will add also the file manager tuner only to test it. Okay, let's call Penguin setup to make a backup of our home. It will create a file in Windows Home with all our configuration. Now, as we created a start menu shortcuts, we will tell Penguin setup to uninstall them. Okay, so we can start from scratch. The remaining thing is to tell Raft to uninstall Pengwin. So we can start from scratch. Okay. As the package is already downloaded, we don't need to go to Microsoft Store again. Just open it and it will configure it from scratch again. We will run Penguin setup and tell that restore our home backup. And after it's restored, we can call the script. So we can, this script, put more and more commands, and this is like the idea of Winget, no? To put you in the picture faster. Okay, let's see the file manager. Also, the console is installed. We can pin it to taskbar and treat it like any other Windows application. Okay, the next step for Pengwin, automated installation. The auto-install command has been gradually shipped. Our goal is to have the full Pengwin setup up to automated. Systemd and snaps. Systemd support is the most requested feature of our users. With snap support, most applications will be now one-click install. Full desktop support. Our users continually ask for full Linux desktop support. Pengwin setup will install and configure for X server or remote desktop, XFCE, MATE, and KDE. Fedora Remix is our high-fidelity Fedora port. The goal of Fedora Remix is that Fedora users feel like home, maintaining the customization at a minimum, while providing an outstanding WSL experience. You use the same tools that you are used to, like DNF, out-of-the-box UI application support with Xserver, includes some details like WSL utilities and the Windows Home link, and our support channel gives top priority to WSL issues. Let's see Fedora in action. Okay, the first things that we want to do is to update it to the latest packages. You can notice that we are calling a script. This script is included in Fedora Remix to not only update the packages, but also some scripts that we include to make the WSL life easier. So let's see one of those scripts. It's called Remix. It will start each time that you open Fedora Remix. It will launch DBoss automatically, configure the display environment variable for WSL 1 or 2. And let's see it in action. Let's install a UI application. First, we need tell X410 to do the DPI scaling, and that's it. Let's install Terminator. Terminator is a very good terminal used by many sysadmins and developers because it allows to administer many servers at a time. So let's install it. Also, we need to install the DBoss X11 support and launch Fedora and write Terminator, and that's it. It is running your terminal. Now let's configure the start menu shortcut. We will use WSL Utilities shortcut creator in interactive mode. We specify the command, specify the name, if a UI application, and also the path for the icon. Okay, it will generate the shortcut in the desktop. So let's look for it in the start menu. We click on it, and we have our Terminator running. One of the features that most users ask in Fedora Remix is to install a full Linux desktop. This time we will install XFCE desktop to see after it installed the 800 packages. We need to configure the X server to be a floating desktop. It will close all the windows and restart it. Then we simply run Fedora and run xfce for session command. You will see here a lot of errors because this is not a native Linux environment, but you will see that everything works. You can open your file manager. You can open the terminal that comes with the desktop. Also the terminal that we just installed, Terminator. Okay. Okay, now for running services in WSL, we have a problem because systemd is not included, it's not running. So we need a workaround. Let's see how Ubuntu or Debian-based distros can deal with it. Let's try to start the SSH server. Okay, it would say that systemd is not running, but we can use the service command and start it. If the host key were configured, we can start our SSH server. Then let's see what's happening in Fedora and also SUSE. It happens the same. Let's try to run it. Okay, we have the same message. Well, let's try the service command. And oops, the service command is just a wrapper over system control. So it won't work. We need to start the daemon manually with all the configuration that it comes. So let's look for another solution. There is a project made for Docker containers that is called Docker System Control Replacement. It will simulate system control, reading the files, the service files, and do what we need, start the services. It's just for that. So let's download it using wget. Okay, we make a backup just in case. And let's copy the script to system control. So first, to start SSH, we need to configure the host keys. So let's start the service SSH key hen, and then start the SSH service. Looks like it's running. Let's see the status, and well, SSH localhost. Okay, looks like it's running. So in this way, in WSL 1 or 2, we can run services. Next step for Fedora Remix. Pengwin setup for Fedora Remix. Yes, Pengwin setup is being ported to Fedora Remix. It will be a subset including only the options related to Windows and Linux interop. Installation of fake systemd that we saw for WSL 1 and a full systemd for WSL 2 will be included in the first release of Pengwin setup for Fedora Remix. Also, in the next months, we will release Fedora Remix 32 and 33. You have your workplace built on Windows platform, your network, your printers, your IT personnel, notebook images, VPNs, conferences in Teams, and your developers prefer Linux. Pengwin Enterprise, Enterprise Linux on WSL. Pengwin Enterprise is our answer to enterprise needs. It comes packaged with Red Hat Enterprise Linux compatible distro, coupled with our corporate support to help you meet your deadlines without changing your Windows infrastructure. We provide an installable image of Red Hat or Oracle Linux or CentOS, a fully functional demo version based on Scientific Linux is distributed in Microsoft Store. With your Red Hat subscription, you can install in the same server environment as in production, including middleware like JBoss EAP to your developer machine. Also, you can use Puppet, Ansible, or Docker in WSL too. So let's see it running. We will need to install it manually, but it's the only difference. And we define a password for root. And the first thing, okay, we can see that this is Red Hat Enterprise Linux server running in WSL. And the first thing that we need to do is to attach a subscription so we can install packages. Okay, so let's call the subscription manager. And the idea is that we will try to install JBoss EAP RPM version in our Red Hat installation. So mimic the production configuration. Okay, we need to add the repo of JBoss using our subscription credentials. And that's it. We only need to call yum grep install JBoss EAP7, and it will install everything, including Java, to run JBoss. We will have the same problem as in Fedora. We don't have systemd support, so let's use the same solution. Maybe it works. Let's look for this in our clipboard history. It's still there. Okay, it's there. So it's the same thing. Let's wget the file, make a backup of our system control, copy the script, and try to run it. Okay, we need to install also Python, so it's not included in Pengwin Enterprise by default. We install it, and let's try to start JBoss with the recommended command. We can see in the top that we have a Java process running. Well, let's see if it is working. Let's see which is the IP of the WSL2. Copy the IP. Then open the browser. And that's it. We have JBoss EAP7 running without hassle in our WSL2. Everyone has different needs. We don't need to be tied to just one platform. The beauty of WSL is that you can have it all. Windows and many Linux distros running concurrently, each one giving you their best to make you achieve more. That's it. The question, we are out of time, so you can make the questions in the Whitewater folder input. I will answer them there, all of them. That's it.
Thank you so much, Carlos. That was really great. It's fun to see Fedora, Red Hat, Scientific, all the other distros represented on WSL. And Raft is really great. Who made that? No, it's great what Whitewater Foundry has taken and rolled with that, and it's really amazing to see what you guys are doing. I really like it.
Thank you.
Awesome. So we are going to move on. Thank you, everyone. We're going to take a quick pause on the stream, and you can join Carlos over in the Whitewater Foundry booth, where you can interact with him, ask him questions. Where can they find you on other places? Twitter, Telegram?
Yes, Penguin Linux, and also CR Ramirez C in Twitter.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carlos.
Thank you to you, and
All right.
thank you to everyone.
Thank you. All right, we'll be back in a minute.